right, here we are again, everyone. It's good to see you all. Jeez, it's going to be pretty awesome today. I do apologize for starting the stream a bit later than usual. It's been a crazy day. Still getting ready for the Hck4G Con CTF 2025 Hack of No Nation. And as you can see, I am super excited, pumped, and ready for a wonderful show for you all today. There is a lot that I've got installed. Obviously, as usual, you guys know how it is, how we roll here. I know pretty much for a lot of you guys who have been supporting the mission over the last few months, or perhaps those who have been part of the NerdKnight episodes from the very beginning. So far we've had 63 different episodes. There were some episodes that we didn't actually record, so I can actually tell you that it's perhaps been more than 63 episodes so far. So I am super pumped. I'm excited for an amazing, actually what is looking to be an amazing, great, awesome liquid show. Well, in terms of what we're actually going to be doing in terms of hard hands-on training, I've been playing with OverTheWire quite a bit. Obviously, for a lot of you guys who attended bootcamp, CTF bootcamp, as part of the Hck4G meetup 0x11, you would have known that I showed you guys how to actually play with OverTheWire and a lot of other platforms as well. We were able to put up our very first CTF platform challenge, and we are working with a lot of incredible people to actually make the CTF go live. We have obviously launched it so far. So if you have not already formed a team, I definitely encourage you to go and, reach out to a few friends, because guys, I can tell you this, it is going to be awesome. Hck4G CTF is going to be amazing. Obviously, it's going to be across Nigeria, Ghana, and Australia. We've got some pretty incredible shows that we have put together for everyone. So I'm quite excited. We've partnered with BR CTF Ghana, Porn CTF Romania. We've partnered with KC Cyber, CyLynk, the Link Group in general. There's a lot of pretty incredible things that are happening. So I am super excited. I'm looking forward to obviously seeing how all of this is going to pan out. So without any further ado, let's begin the show, people. Woo! All right, it's Semichucks here, founder of Hck4G and the Link Group. If you have just tuned in, you are watching officially NerdKnight
episode 63. I almost said 23 for some reason, but
here we are, people. Let's have some fun. All right, in terms of what we're going to look forward to receiving today, so we are going to go straight into, talking about like pretty much what has been happening within Hck4G over the last few months. And I'm going to take you guys to the back end of what's been happening, what it's been like trying to build multiple startups at the same time, what it's been like trying to build a brand that is known for an actual movement, not just there to just make money, but a brand that is truly making an impact globally. So I'm going to be talking a lot about what that looks like. I'm also going to be sharing with you guys what it looks like to really genuinely be working on a project that means a lot to you, that means a lot to your upbringing. And a lot of you guys already kind of know my story already. So it's pretty exciting to sort of see what it is that we're going to be doing over the next few months. So I'll be sharing a lot of that and more over the next few minutes. I am excited to see what that will look like. So I'm just trying to reduce the volume a little bit because I feel like it's a little bit too loud. It's kind of going over the minus 7.6 decibels. So I do not want to blow your eardrums. All right, cool. So we go from that. I talk about what it's felt like building a multiple startups at the same time. I'm going to be vulnerable, 100% honest with you guys to tell you what it feels like from the back end. Some days it literally just feels like quitting. Other days you're like, I'm super pumped, I'm excited, I'm happy to see this come to fruition, all of that. And also we're going to move from that honesty and the rawness and vulnerability from me into the cyber threat landscape. So basically what is happening out there in the cybersecurity ecosystem. I would actually like to sort of know how AI has been tracking so far. So a lot of people are obviously worried that AI might displace them, especially those who are perhaps doing any type of knowledge work or white collar type jobs, which is where, according to what I've been hearing, the impact of AI is going to be felt quite heavily. So we're going to look into what has been happening with AI. And then once we've done that, we are going to dive right into doing some, playing some, hacky the hack game with Linux. Shout out to OverTheWire.org. Some incredible projects that a lot of people are contributing to. We've already introduced you all to the KC7 project. KC7 is an amazing partner that we do have here at the Link Group. So we've been working with them for quite a while now, and we've recommended their platform to a lot of our people. Obviously, you guys know that you can obviously get hands-on, job-ready cybersecurity training by going to CyLynk.com. But I'm not going to focus too much on trying to sell something today. I kind of want to share with you guys what it's felt like building multiple startups at the same time. So yeah, and here we go. I guess I'm going to find, a soundboard that kind of tells the story of what I'm trying to say. All right, cool. So basically, I've always had this inclination to do something, that is bigger than myself. So, again, I'm going to be telling my story at the Hck4G Con in Melbourne on the 15th of November. So if you have not already bought your ticket, I'm going to drop the link to get your ticket in the comment section. I guarantee you guys, this is a conference not to be missed. So go and get your ticket. I guarantee you it's going to be amazing. So basically, from the very beginning, even when I was still in Africa, I knew that, life isn't really necessarily meant to be lived alone. And I remember when I wanted to leave the cybercrime syndicate, one of the questions I asked myself, and one of the, the key reason why I left, obviously, my faith is a big reason for that. I thank God that I gave my life to Christ and was able to step outside of that. And now, obviously, we are on a mission to disrupt cybercrime in those regions. But I think one of the other things that I kind of, which is also, I guess, connected to my faith in one way or the other, is that it dawned on me that continuing on in cybercrime, I would make a lot of money, no issues. There's no doubt about that. And I knew that I wanted to sort of, obviously, if you're in places like Africa, pretty much a lot of the times what you can think of is how to make money, right? Because you're living in poverty, you see lack everywhere around you, and you're kind of conditioned to think about money. So money occupies a lot of your brain space. There's not even any time left to actually do things like, leisure activity like going camping or going on holiday. That's not even a thing where I come from. So you're always thinking about how to maximize every single opportunity. Because there's very little number of opportunities in those sort of in that kind of place and such parts of the world, and it's not just an African thing. Also, Southeast Asia here, places like Papua New Guinea and Fiji, and other parts of the world as well. And so I remember growing up, and I remember this quite vividly. One of the things or the questions I asked myself before I left cybercrime was, yes, what if I make all this money? Why do I want to make money? Like, why do I want to become wealthy or, have some money to be able to do things? And quite honestly, obviously, I still wonder how I was able to actually have this sort of a philosophical thought at that age, at a very young age, in a place where pretty much there's a lot of hurt and a lot of brokenness. So I still think it's a miracle that I was even, that, I guess, self-introspective enough to think about this the way I thought about it. And I remember asking myself the question, Sammy, why do you really want to make money? And the answer that I could find, or perhaps the only answer that I could find, was that I wanted to help people, right? Like, I didn't quite know what it was or what it is that I would do to help people, but I just had it in my heart, that I wanted to help people. And somehow, I don't know, a 17, 18-year-old Sammy was able to rationalize that it makes no sense to steal from someone to be able to help anyone else with that money, right? It's essentially stealing from Peter to pay Paul. Like, it just didn't make sense to me. Like, it did not make sense at all. So that was where, I basically decided, you know what? If I'm genuinely wanting to get wealthy or make some money, again, literally, don't judge me. So, like I said, being in that part of the world, that's all you can think of a lot of the times, with all of the lacks that you see around you. And basically, I got into that, and I eventually made that decision that, I wanted to help people. That is why I want to make money. So I could not reconcile being in cybercrime or continuing to go down that pathway and wanting to help people. Like, the two things just looked like daylight and darkness to me. So I decided to, I was when I decided to sort of leave the environment. And for a lot of you guys who sort of know my story in a little bit more detail, One of the things you would know is that even though I left cybercrime didn't quite leave me because people around me, I was still the IT support guy for a lot of cyber criminals in Lagos, Nigeria. I was still the guy fixing their phones, fixing their computers, fixing their laptops, and pretty much everything else, helping them connect the internet. So I kind of became the IT support guy for cyber criminals, after I decided to leave. And I guess that was really probably perhaps why I didn't get into a lot of trouble, because I was still technically kind of around these people, still, operating the malware, helping set things up and whatnot, before I eventually left Nigeria and sort of came to Australia to study. But anyways, so the crazy thing is that was like a massive, surreal experience for me. Now that I think back at it, I ask myself, how did I even go into the space of having this sort of quite, I guess, philosophical thought of thinking, oh well, if I want to help people, then stealing from someone else to help other person, it doesn't make sense, right? But I'm really glad that I did that, because that's essentially what has brought me to where I am right now. But anyways, I digress. So wanted to help people. What does that look like? And that's kind of led me to where I am right now, now understanding that the problem that I was part of, or the crime that I was part of, cybercrime that I was part of, is pretty much a massive epidemic that is destroying the lives of young people in underserved communities and untapped regions. And for a lot of young people here in Melbourne, like, you guys know that it's petty crime. And often this is often a societal, community-based problem, where there's not a lot of good role models that young people can look up to, whether that be male or female. So what we're doing with Hck4Good, we're saying to young people that you don't have to choose crime. Obviously, specifically, like, I'm a cyber guy. All I think about day and night is cybersecurity. Like, I breathe and live cybersecurity. So we're asking these questions like, why do you have to go into cybercrime if there are other opportunities? And often what we're finding out is that a lot of young people don't actually know that the opportunities do exist to hack for good. So this is why we are on a mission to provide that awareness, education of the impact, the consequence, and also alternative pathways that exist. And then through partnership with the Link Group in general, we're providing the education that is required, the technical, job-ready, hands-on training and education that is required to be able to empower young people in these regions, including here in Australia and in the West as well. Like, I was speaking to someone today, and I said to them, like, often when I talk about underserved communities and untapped regions, people automatically think of places like, Africa or emerging economies. But the reality is, we live in a day and age where there are people here in Australia, in Melbourne, in Sydney, in the Northern Territory, outside, the cities, in regional towns and villages, where young people are finding it difficult to find access to good quality skill that opens up opportunities. So this is why this is not just an African thing. This is not just an Australian thing. This is a global movement of people who are passionate about empowering young people to make better choices. So I'm super excited to sort of see how all of that works. But back to obviously building 3 different startups at the same time. So we have Hck4Good, which is a non-for-profit organization, which is obviously disrupting cybercrime in such places, in such regions, and such communities. And then we do have CyLynk, which is where we're providing that hands-on technical training. And this is obviously connected to the whole situation around what young people often complain of, is that they hear often a lot about not going into cybercrime or not doing crime or not going down the wrong pathway, but not a lot about here's what you can do instead. So instead of just talking about living cybercrime or not getting involved in cybercrime, which is what a lot of young people in Africa are hearing from Interpol or from the local police, the financial crime divisions, pretty much something close to the AFP or ASIO here in Australia. I think in Nigeria they call the EFCC or something like that. Yeah, I think they still call that. What often happens is that these organizations or institutions, which, by the way, they're doing incredible work, so don't get me wrong, they're doing great work. Like, Interpol does an incredible work. But the problem is that they often come in when it's too late, when the young person has gone down the wrong path, and their only response is to throw them in jail or to, essentially, lock them up for life or whatever it is. And secondly, the other thing as well is that, hey, by the way, guys, please, comment, add your your thoughts as well in the comment section, depending on where you're watching from. Whether you're in Africa or you're in Peru or in Brazil, which is a lot of places where things are hard. In India, where cybercrime is obviously taking hold as well. If you're in Papua New Guinea, or if you're here in Melbourne, Australia, and you're already someone who is used to NerdKnight, welcome, great to have you. And I do have my soundboard ready to go.
Yes. It's good. It's soft. It's beautiful.
Guys, I invested in a really good microphone. So, it was either going to be the Shure, something. I think it's the Shure microphone that is super pricey. That's like the OG number one podcast mic that everyone uses. That is wealthy. I say wealthy, but I decided to cut my coat to my according to my size and buy the Rode microphone, which are actually quite amazing for the price. I think we ended up paying $100 and something for them, and they're really amazing. And we got this cover, obviously, that carries the Link Group color, which is orange. By the way, my favorite color. And don't worry, none of my password says that orange is my favorite color. Anyways, back to the story. So what we're doing is that rather than tell young people to not commit crime, or rather than tell young people not to do all these things or get involved in like negative I guess things or negative groups, we are really deciding to empower them through hands-on technical cybersecurity training, which is where CyLynk comes in. So it's all kind of connected. All of our different businesses are kind of connected to, to solve that one problem, right? To achieve that one single goal of empowering young people in underserved communities and untapped regions globally. And again, I've already explained that when I say that, I don't necessarily just mean Africa. I mean even here in Australia. Like, we all can agree that life doesn't cut every single cut in the same size and weight. Like if you're an immigrant, child or child of an immigrant here in Australia, and your mom and dad are literally working their bums off to send you to school, you know how hard it is. So this mission is also for you as well. So you can choose better pathways, so you can be empowered to go after what it is that you want to go after. So we do have CyLynk, which is providing the hands-on job ready. Guys, when I talk about CyLynk, literally what I mean is job ready, which is why our motto is gain an edge, right? What is that thing that makes you stand out? And then from there, we obviously have BridgeLink, which is a consulting company. There are other businesses that are going to be launched, which is kind of also revolving around the same ethos of empowering young people to solve global complex business problems, right? Anyways, so this is essentially, I guess, the heart behind founding 3 different startups at the same time and trying to run them all at the same time. And I will be lying to sit down here and say to you guys that, sometimes I don't feel the weight of what it feels like to be building this. I do. And sometimes literally to the point of just wanting to just throw in the towel. Like, it would be great to go back into the workforce and have someone that's paying me every fortnight, right? But the mission and the vision, in fact, what we have to do must be done. And if not us, who will do it, right? So, and this is why quitting is not an option for us. Now, there's this saying, I think I probably perhaps, saw this in a YouTube channel somewhere, when I'm, dumb, I don't know what the word is again. I think it's called death scrolling or dumb scrolling, whatever it is. And one of the things they said is that I think it's a drill sergeant in the Marine, and he was talking to some of his cadets or whatever the word is. Guys, I don't know military lingo. And he was saying to one of them that, guys, every single day you're going to feel like quitting because you're doing something that it's often not done. Like, not everyone can do this. And the advice he gave them is that as long as you can tell yourself that I'll quit tomorrow, and then when tomorrow comes, you tell yourself you'll quit tomorrow again. And then as long as you just keep moving the button or the goalpost of when you're going to quit it tomorrow, then you know that tomorrow that kind of carries you on to the next day. You're almost kind of deceiving your brain to think that things will be easy. But the reality is nothing great was ever done, that was easy, right? So that's essentially what we're building, 3 different startups at the same time. Obviously, one of them being the non-for-profit organization, and then you have CyLynk, which is a training. Like in my heart, what I really want CyLynk to be is I want it to be the marketplace for cybersecurity, AI, and tech skills, right? Like literally, if you want to get job-ready, hands-on technical training, about any of these spaces, you can come in here knowing that you're going to leave with tangible skills that would equip you to be able to solve complex business problems with hands-on job-ready skills, right? And I know this is early days, but I can guarantee you guys that do not let today's resources or availability of resources define what the future is going to look like, because I can guarantee you guys that my team and I would work and work and work until we achieve this. And I think it's evident by now that we are pretty good at executing really, really fast. All right, so moving on from that, that's pretty much what it feels like sometimes wanting to build a startup. I'm super excited for the Hck4G Con. So if you have not already gotten your ticket, guys, you know I'm being honest and vulnerable with you all right now. That's what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to build something that doesn't exist yet. And I really, really love the fact that you're all supporting and you're part of this mission. You're part of this movement. So shout out to yourself. If you have not already joined our Discord server, please go ahead and do so. You can go to CyLynk.com and click on the Discord icon so you can join in. Hck4G also has a completely different Discord server, obviously, because we want to make sure that we're keeping those two things separate, because Hck4G is a non-for-profit organization, while CyLynk is for-profit. Obviously, CyLynk funds the non-for-profit, but we want to also kind of keep things separate as much as possible. So you can also join Hck4G own Discord server as well. Of course, the same team managing in the back end, but from a system point of view, we want to keep those two things separate by going to hck4g.org and clicking on the Discord icon as well, so you can join that. And if you have not already followed us on LinkedIn, go ahead and do that. We are also available on YouTube. Obviously, that's where you're watching this from now. But also, you can also find us on LinkedIn as well, and a lot of other places. But again, if you have already been watching this and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for, guys? What are you waiting for? Where do I tell that? Yeah, there you go. What are you waiting for? Go ahead and subscribe and like this video if you're loving the honesty and the brutal vulnerability that you're seeing from this NerdKnight. So I guess from here, I think the next thing for us to probably focus on, I have been speaking about this for a little bit now, but I'm quite happy for us to move on to the next segment, which would be let's actually do some threat landscape first before we do some research and learn. Like I said, guys, we are going to be playing with some Linux stuff today. So let's see. The hacker news, guys. Where do you all get your cyber news? Put that in the comment section. Where do you typically get your cyber news, right? I do like the hacker news. And I also like the Bleeding Computer as well. So really, really good resources out there. Shout out to these guys. Let's do Bleeding Computer as well. Obviously, there is Cyber Scoop. There is Dark Reading as well. There's a lot of good resources out there, so it doesn't really matter which one you use. There are other resources like talkback.sh. So talkback.sh is pretty much like an RSS feed, like kind of commingling of all of these different resources that are out there. So go ahead and either take a look at that and learn. But like I said, I'm quite keen to sort of know what's happening in the AI space today, and then we're going to obviously look at what is happening from with regards to cyber globally. So. We got hacked. Emails threatened to leak University of Pennsylvania data. Interesting. That is scary. Like, you would think that universities are pretty much immune to being hacked, but no. Cyber criminals don't care, right? Microsoft Edge gets scareware sensors for faster scam detection. I did notice that there was a bit of an update with Edge that has been throwing some applications off a little bit. And obviously, Australia warns of bad candy infection on patched Cisco devices. Ooh, interesting. That is very relevant if you're in Australia. Why password control still matters in cybersecurity. Alleged Medusa Stealer malware admin arrested after hacking Russian orgs. Oh, jeez. I tell people this, that no country, no region, no creed is safe from cyber criminals, right? You would think that, like a lot of guys are sort of, they give Russia a bit of bad blood for saying that, for having a lot of the cyber crime, or cyber hacking emanate from that region. But that doesn't mean that, Russians don't suffer this, right? Like the average Russian is probably just trying to have a normal life, right? Also, you have one for Linux vulnerability. Google says search AI mode will now will know everything about you. Why do I want AI to know everything about me? Seriously. Windows 0 Day actively exploited by spy on European diplomats, right? Ukraine extradited from Iran on counter ransomware charges, Ukrainian. Again, guys, like there's a lot of deep stuff that I know about this sort of regions like Ukraine and Russia that I probably don't want to share online. But yeah, look, no place is safe from cybercrime, right? OpenAI confirms GPT-5 is now better at handling mental and emotional distress. Interesting. Like, guys, do not use ChatGPT for your mental and emotional distress. Go out there, go talk to real human beings, right? And I feel like that's one of the things that we're all missing, is that we're also hooked up to this online world that we often miss out on experiencing life on the outside. So I think one of the saddest scene that I often do not like seeing each time I go into the city is, on average, if you go into the train, literally about 99%. Again, and I'm saying 99% with an air quote, because it might be lower than that or higher than that. But look, just to be safe, let's say over 90% of people typically on the metro train or whatever, any public transport, are often on their phones, right? Now, I can understand if you're reading a book and trying to make use of that time, or whether that be 30 minutes on the train, make quite wise use of that as much as possible. But if you're just literally just watching a YouTube video or whatever it is, you are missing out on an opportunity to connect with your fellow humans. And that's something I feel like humans need to get better at doing. So unplug, go out there, have conversations with people, spend time in the real world, and I think the world would be a better place. All right. Okay, so there's some cool stuff in here. I'm still trying to see if there is anything that has to do with AI in here. Pardon me. Guys, I'm still recovering from whatever it is that I caught earlier. So DNS outage impact Azure. Oh yeah, I was actually hearing about this. For some reason, I was so busy planning the Hck4G 0x11 meetup, the CTF bootcamp, that I really did not even know that was happening. Fetch InfoSealer for Windows, Linux. Ooh, seriously, like why are these public package repos just being hammered by cyber criminals? Seriously, I don't even know if I want to have AI on my PC, but only time will tell. All right, how about we take a look at what is going on at Dark Reading? Maybe there might be something. I'm really wanting to sort of get some updates on what is going on with AI recently. Oh, that's interesting. Interesting. I'm tempted to obviously read that, guys. I think you can kind of tell why. So living off the land attack hides malware in Windows native AI stack. That's an interesting one. Okay, cool. So without perhaps going too deep into this, let's take a look at this one. All right, U.S. stands out in refusal to sign United Nations Cybercrime Treaty. The agreement aims to help law enforcement prosecute cross-border cybercrime, but the final treaty could allow unchecked surveillance and human rights abuses. Right, and this is always like the catch-22 of something like this. Like by design, it's meant to sort of help. But at the same time, there's a lot of other, privacy-related issues that we all know. Like governments are not really that great at protecting, citizen data and information. So, like, it's almost like, seriously, like, which way should we go to ensure that there is safety and good done in the world, right? Anyways, critics say it includes no protection for pen testers. Interesting, right? So I wonder what that actually means. Thanks, Robert Lemos, for this article. So, as China, Iran, Russia, and the European Union signed onto a new global cybercrime treaty, the United States and a minority of other nations continue to voice concerns over the global agreement's impact on human rights and the expansion of covered crimes to include any serious offense enabled by information communication technology. Right. So, all right. On Monday, more than 70 nations signed onto the treaty. Formerly, the U.S. United States Convention Against Cybercrime pledged to aid in the investigation and the prosecution of any criminal offenses committed through the use of information and communication technology systems, according to a copy of the document. Signers of the agreement promise to cooperate on serious crimes, which includes any violation of law that has a maximum prison time of at least 4 years. The scope of the treaty extends far beyond serious cyber crimes to many activities protected by most diplomatic nations, including dissent, whistleblowing, and even security research. What? I want to know the nations that signed this. Like, how? Anyways, keep reading, Semi. All right. So Nick Abston-Hart, head of cybersecurity at Hck4G, a policy group whose members include major companies such as Cisco, Meta, Microsoft, and SAP. There are weak criminal intent requirements on the specific offenses in the convention, with no protection against criminal liability for security researchers and pen testers. He says, in fact, journalist sources and whistleblowers' activities could also be criminalized. Like, this is like the holy grail for dictatorial or authoritarian regimes and nations. Like, they could use this to charge anyone who's a dissenting member of their nation or perhaps the opposition. So this is kind of handing a fully loaded gun to people who are authoritarian in nature. Like, I understand the heart behind wanting to sort of put something together in place, but we got to be very careful. The language in the treaty has split nations into two groups: human rights-focused nations who want strong protections and limiting international corporations to major cybercrimes only, and those nations that see the treaty as a way to enable broad investigation of people, right, who may not even be charged with a crime. Aston Hart adds, provisions in the document provide for real-time surveillance of individuals, confiscation of assets, and the control of corporate systems by law enforcement in another country, or without the requirement of notification, he says. Like, that's huge. United States not alone in opposing cybercrime treaty. The United States focused on the new capability that the treaty would deliver, which includes the collection, sharing, and use of electronic evidence, as well as the criminalization of the dissemination of child sexual abuse images and non-consensual intimate images. The UN Cybercrime Convention is a powerful, legally binding instrument to strengthen our collective defenses against cybercrime. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said in a statement announcing the signing of the document, "It is a testament to the continued power of multilateralism to deliver solutions, and it is a vow that no country, no matter their level of development, will be left defenseless against cybercrime." So yet many nations signing the treaty may not have such laudable goals. In 2019, Russia began the process of establish the treaty. Wow, that is the most unlikely place for that to originate from, when its delegates sponsored a resolution to create a framework for combating cybercrime. The other signatories include a list of authoritarian countries: Belarus, Cambodia, China, Iran, Myanmar, Nicaragua, Syria, and Venezuela. Guys, so you see what I'm saying here? I knew it. Like, literally, the list alone is just quite scary. Like, hey, there's definitely nothing to see here, right? Yeah, we're definitely wanting to stop cybercrime at its tracks. Yeah. Oh boy. Looking at the group of founders should make any policy watcher skeptical, especially with much of the cybercrime activity coming from China and Russia, says Zach Edwards, a senior threat analyst with CyLynk Push, a cyber threat intelligence firm. He pointed to a massive economic cost caused by the cybercrime groups in China and Russia. It's naive to believe that Russia and China are suddenly going to change these policies that they've had for decades, he says. In both of these countries, there are cybercriminal groups and organizations that promote and support cybercrime, whilst also being used by the government as APTs, right? State-sponsored advanced persistent threats. On the other hand, notable non-signing organizations beyond the US, English is not English in today, includes Canada, Israel, and New Zealand. Also notable, hey, I'm wondering if Australia signed this. Like, I know Australia sometimes can be quite very, forthcoming in things like this. So I kind of want to know who signed this, right? Digital rights groups are also worried. On October 24, Human Rights Watch published a joint statement by nearly 20 organizations that raised concerns with the treaty. The convention, the first global treaty of its kind, extends far beyond addressing cybercrime. Malicious actors on computer networks, systems, and data. The collection of organizations stated it obligates states to establish broad electronic surveillance powers to investigate and cooperate on a wide range of crimes, including those that don't involve information and communication system. It does so without adequate human rights safeguards. In its joint statement, the group urged nations to not sign the treaty or, at the very least, establish strong human rights safeguards and create policy for public private sector organizations, which are facing increasing requests for information on protected activities. The convention's flaw cannot easily be mitigated because it lacks a mechanism for suspending states that systematically fail to respect human rights or rule of law. The group said it could also provide a vehicle for such states to assert jurisdictions over multinational companies with users in their territory, right? Global companies and those that do business in nations with repressive governments should expect an uptick in requests for cooperation with investigation. Because of the light protection for human rights in the current treaty, companies may have little recourse but to provide information, says CyLynk Push Edward. This absolutely will create risk for users because as soon as it goes into effect, the big cloud companies are just going to be inundated with requests from authoritarian countries for data on their users. It says they will have to make really hard judgment calls and suspend a lot of resources to navigate this, or spend a lot of resources. The treaty will not take effect until 40 countries have adopted the cybercrime treaty as part of its law. So I'm kind of trying to find out what countries have signed this treaty. Who signed this treaty? Google is my friend. Yep, I knew it. Why do I just think that Australia would sign this? That's just sad. Perhaps I shouldn't be using that for that. Well, why am I surprised? Like Australia hasn't necessarily been a nation that cares about individual rights and privacy protection. Well, I'm not necessarily having to go at Australia. You guys know that I'm Australian, so but like the government itself is quite. How do I put this politely? The Australian government is quite collectivist. So now, and I'm not sure if I'm using that word correctly, but what I'm really trying to say is that there's just this thing about Australia, and I think it was pretty obvious during COVID that one person's right could be 100% completely trampled if the state thinks that it's for the good of for the general public, right? Almost like this sense of it's for your own good, right? I'm drowning you, but it's for your own good. Just shut up and just stay down and drink the water peacefully. So again, what do I know? I'm not an expert in politics and law, but that is something, again, from an immigrant's point of view, that's one thing that I find quite annoying in Australia, is that almost like, I don't want to use the name nanny state, but there's almost this sense that Australia as a country is designed to protect you from yourself even. All right. And typically what happens with that is people lose common sense, right? When like something as simple as going camping, You're not allowed to put up, to have a fire, even if it is in the middle of, I don't know, like spring when there's no bushfires or whatnot. Rather than trying to teach people the effective or strategies on how to mitigate, um, like crazy outburns or whatever it is, the knee-jerk reaction is to outright ban having fires at campsite. Like, make that make sense to me, right? Anyways, who am I? I'm just Semi Chucks, right? The founder of Hck4G and the Link Group. All I know how to do is cybersecurity, so I better stay in my lane, huh? Oh boy. So this looks like a big deal. So what does this mean? Like, why is Australia signing on to something that was instigated by Russia? Again, not that Russia is a bad country, but hear me out, from a cybercrime point of view, yeah, yikes. Interesting. Like, literally, look at that. That makes no sense. Yeah, good to see Ghana, Rwanda, Qatar, Thailand, Sri Lanka, South Africa, Tanzania, Uruguay, Venezuela, Vietnam, Zimbabwe of all places. Oh, geez, seriously. Anyways, guys, you know me. I'm just here, just having a good time. But yeah, look, that's really, really good. What is happening in AI this week, right? Like, I'm kind of keen to know what's going on. Is there like an AI news platform? Four places. Yeah, Romania did not sign. I have no idea why Romania did not sign. Wait, or did we not find them there? Perhaps they're there. No, they're not. Like, that is surprising to me, right? That is surprising to me. I would have thought that Russia would have put Romania in because Russia is literally just Romania's next door neighbor. That's very funny. Anyways, I'm keen to know what's going on in AI this week. Like, I'm pretty. Weekly AI news. I don't know. Andre, do you know any new good source for AI related matters? Well, look at that one. So what's going on here? That's created by Sora. So let's see. I have no idea what platform this is, but let's find out. Okay. Nothing really fun and exciting happening there. I'm just curious today. TechCrunch, what's going on in TechCrunch? 'Crunch? 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 'Crunch Interesting. Well, it makes sense, right? Because a lot of people are building AI infrastructure, right? That is huge for Perplexity, right? That is huge for them. That is huge for them. So what does that mean? Does that mean if you have a Perplexity Pro account, you can get access to get the images? Oh, that is big news. Like this is technically like the kind of partnership, across, I guess, industry partnership that I was expecting to see with AI. Like not just someone just deciding, well, because I can, I'm just going to scrape all of your data and and just use it to give it to my users. So this was exactly what I was kind of expecting to see with regards to AI. But anyways, who am I? Okay, Reddit CEO says chatbots are not a traffic driver. Okay. 4.1 million. Like, dude, the amount of money people raise in Silicon Valley, it's sometimes scary. Like, I would love me $5 million right now. uh, well, you don't want to ask, Andre. What cybersecurity issues will a robot in your house pose? You don't want to know. What is that? That's a lot of money being invested. $1 billion. Interesting. Wow. Interesting. What? That's a big one. So Grammarly is no longer called Grammarly? Grammarly is now called Superhuman. Like, Andre, see what I mean? Like, this is why I'm wanting to sort of look into this. Like, I think I need to pay attention to TechCrunch a bit more. What? Well, at least they're keeping the name Grammarly, but the company name is changing to Superhuman. Like, guys, we've gone through a company name change, and at this level, we're pretty much like baby, like very minuscule. So, like, for an organization like Grammarly to go through a name change, that's a monumental effort. Like, it's insane. I can tell you guys, like, literally a small company like us going through a name change was nightmarish. Like, there's a lot of document you have to change. Pretty much every single collateral or document or resources you have up until then is now rendered useless because now you have to portray the new name rather than the old name. So yeah, I can imagine what every operational leader within Grammarly is kind of sort of battling with at the moment. It's insane. So what is going on with Campus AI? I've kind of heard a lot about them. So what does legitimate AI research? I mean, So OpenAI says its deep learning systems are rapidly advancing with models increasingly able to solve complex tasks faster. So fast, in fact, that internally, OpenAI is tracking towards achieving an intern-level research assistant by September 2026 and a fully automated legitimate AI researcher by 2028. CEO Sam Altman said during a live stream Tuesday, the ambitious timeline comes on the same day OpenAI finalized its transition to a public benefit corporation structure, moving away from its non-for-profit route. This restructuring releases OpenAI from limitations tied to its non-for-profit chapter, while also opening up new opportunities for capital raising. Like, why should OpenAI be raising more capital, right? Like, these guys they have so much money. Jakub Pachoki, OpenAI's chief scientist, joined Altman on the live stream. He described this AI researcher, not to be confused with a human who researches AI. Okay, that was what I thought it was, as a system capable of autonomously delivering on large research projects. We believe that it is possible that deep learning systems are less than a decade away from superintelligence. What could go wrong? Right, Andre, like your question, what happens when what cybersecurity concern do you have when you have an AI bot in your house, right? Well, one thing I can say is for sure, the next 10 years is going to be an interesting time to be alive, right? So we can only just watch and gaze and see where all of this is going. Oh boy. All right, I think enough about threat landscape, or perhaps AI landscape as well. I think we should kind of also continue doing the AI stuff as well, because I think it's kind of quite interesting to see what's going on. I know if you guys haven't heard about Campus AI, they're pretty much a platform that kind of wants to give out, I think they're giving out degrees in 2 years, something like that. There was something about them. Let me see. Human plus AI collaboration. Yeah, something like that. So what it is, the key to the world of artificial intelligence. So what do they actually do? So I'm just trying to. Oh wait, I have to accept. Oh come on. So what is that? You want me to accept cookie? I don't want to accept your cookie. Go away. Mission. All right. So more than technology, human plus AI collaboration. We live in the era of artificial intelligence. Every day, we are inundated with a flood of information about groundbreaking new models and tools that can do almost everything. Right. Surrounded by all this noise, it's easy to think that the future belongs to autonomous algorithms, and that the role of humans is becoming increasingly smaller. At Campus AI, we see it differently. We believe that the true revolution is not about asking humans or machine, but about understanding the power that lies in the slogan, human with machine. All right. Our mission is to build a future based on human plus AI collaboration, a philosophy of deep partner collaboration where technology is not the goal, but a means to enhance human potential. All right. So, to give this idea a practical and comprehensible dimension, we have developed a three-level cooperation model at Campus AI. Each level represents a different degree of synergy and shows how AI can be integrated step by step into our professional and personal lives. This concept, which is the foundation of our activity, has been described in detail in the book by Alexandra Prezekans, whatever, and Tamila Triantolo, Converging Minds, the creative potential of collaborative AI. Interesting. So for me, what does that mean? Go away. So what does this do? Stay current. You are always up to date with technology and know how to use it. Hands-on learning. You learn by doing. Develop real project using natural AI tools, efficient and job satisfaction, reliable. We believe that development is the key to success. So if I click join Campus AI, what does that do? I literally still do not know what these guys do. Like, kid you not. Like, still after reading that, I still don't know what they do. Like, are they a university, school? Oh, wait, courses. Okay. Okay. I guess that's a good thing. So yeah, it's kind of a training platform, yeah. And here, learn how to leverage AI at every stage of video production, from idea generation and editing to post-production. You will learn about tools that automate editing, create special effects. I guess this is technically good. How much is it? Now I understand what they do. So they're probably right now more trying to get users on their platform more than anything else, I think. Like, is there like a pricing thingy at the bottom? Like, can I find how much this costs? So how much does it cost? That's different. That's the campusai.com. It's an interactive learning platform designed to help users understand and effectively collaborate with AI, artificial intelligence, right? To offers practical AI skill training through video courses, webinars, checklists, and interactive tools. Users gain access to 100 plus verified AI applications organized by use case and industry, along with dozens of AI models such as GPT, Midjourney, and Dale, all in one place without needing multiple subscriptions. The platform focuses on practice or learning with real-world examples, helping individuals and teams grow their AI capability at their own pace. So, how much is it? It sounds interesting to me. You would never be able to learn something like cybersecurity there, though. But anyways, all right, guys, thank you so much for hanging around with me. Let's actually go learn something useful with our time that we have. So it's time to do some good old research. Oh, all right. So guys, I've been playing with Over the Wire for a bit now, so I think I'll just continue showing you guys that. So I've got into level 6, I believe. Oh, seriously, it's my. All right, so let's clear this. I think you can all see my my screen. Close. Don't want you. Close. Close. All right. So I think I was still at level 6. Yep. So I needed to find a file, and I know. So that would be level 5 to 6. Yep. So that means I need to SSH into 5. All right. So I do have my password. So guys, just to help you follow along. So this is the password for level 6. No, I don't think that's it. That's wrong. So this is password for level 5 because we're still trying to find level 6 password. If you haven't played Over the Wire before, I definitely encourage you to try it out. It's a really useful resource. Obviously, that's not the way that we provide training. We also have our practical Linux certified Linux CLI, well, PLC, practical Linux PLC I literally forgot the name of the course. Give me a second. Let's see. Practical Certified Linux Essential. I think so. Oh. Yeah, Practical Linux CLI Essential. It's all right. Okay, CLI Essential. That's the name. I have no idea why I forgot that. A bit of brain freeze, but let's see. So let's SSH into Bandit 5. That's where we need to go. We have the password for Bandit 5. And I think we've copied the password already. So we paste that. And we are in. So if you have not already solved this, if you're obviously way ahead of me, then feel free to do that. Now, in here, let's CD into in here. Let me see if I can get this up a little bit more so you guys can see. All right, so we're in here. Let's see what is in there. So typically, before you kind of solve any of this, I typically recommend that you go and read. So the password for the next level is stored in a file somewhere under the in here directory and has all of the following properties, right? So it says it's human readable, right? And it has 1,033 bytes in size, and it's not executable, right? So using find, initially when I first tried this challenge, for some reason I didn't think of using find, and I did not see this comment in here. So this is technically a dead giveaway. So one thing we can do is we can just Google using find to look for files with a certain size. Well, in Linux, just to make sure we don't have any ambiguity. So that's what we want. So we can see here. So find the directory you wanted to find. And then this option xdev, type file. So type means file. And then size is that. I have no idea what that option does. I don't think we actually need it. So let's see if this would work. So if we do find everything in here, and then we're looking for type is equals F, and we're looking for size is equals 10,033, 10,033, B. Found nothing, byte. So 1033 byte would be 10,333 kilobytes. Nothing. Just to be safe. Maybe it didn't recognize that. So let's try this. Yeah. And then we want to look for that again. 10.033B. Nothing. Interesting. Invite. No, AI, go away. So size. So that was what I did. Size is that's 1 megabyte. Is that 9 megabyte size? Okay, it's interesting. Well, that doesn't quite help me. So that means 1.33 bytes. So we do have all of that. So that file, that file, that file. So what if I wanted to do exactly that? Can I do this? .33 and this. No. All right, let's try this. Duck, help, I believe. So you can do byte, C, W, kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte. So why was I not seeing that when I did this? Nothing comes up for that. that if I do this, it works. So that's time. We can just literally just Google that because I feel like we're missing something. So we've done that. I don't think that will make any difference, but let's try. Yeah, no. Go away. Hang on. Oh, this sounds like it's answering the question that we're looking for. Yeah, this is exactly answering that question. So this is the answer we're looking for, but I'm trying to understand why. So there is a non-executable filter in Linux. I didn't even know that that existed. And so what if I did this instead? And pasted that. So now we've got file 2, file 2, file 2, file 2, file 2. So only file 2 is not executable. Okay, it's interesting. And so now if I go back and go name is human readable print, I have no idea what that does. So it just gives me the same thing. So good. So I guess this kind of narrows things down from having to look at every single file in there. So we can see it only exists in 1, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, pretty much everything to 15, and then 18. So if we try that command here, what I don't understand is why they're choosing to use C for byte. So let's go look for that. Execute. Oh, right. So that's the case here. So B is for 512 byte blocks. So 512, which is 1024. Yep, that makes sense. So which means it'll be looking for something within that block. But because we're looking for 1033, which is bigger than 1012, 1024, we have to use C for the actual block. That makes sense now. Well, you learn something new every day. All right. So file 2 is the culprit. But I guess if we had kind of manually, well, oh 07. Hang on, that wasn't even present here. That is interesting. Anyway, so let's cat that. May. Here, 07. And then dot file 2. Right, hang on. File 2. And that's the password we're looking for. Oh, hang on, that should be bandit 6, not 7. Okay, so I guess because we've solved that, I think I kind of want to keep this. That's an interesting one. Copy selection. And then chuck this here. Reference. All right, that solves our problem. So let's exit this and perhaps copy that Stack Exchange conversation. It'll be good to refer back to someday. Someday. All right, so let's log in. And see what the next pane they've put up here for us is. So we're going into Bandit 6 now with the new SSH key we got. Oh, sorry, SSH password. Why is my laptop slow? We need to paste the password that we just got. What is in here? Cool, we've got it. LSLA, what do we have here? Nothing. So let's read what we're supposed to be doing with level 76. So the password for the next level is stored somewhere on the server and has all of the following properties. Owned by user bandit 7, owned by group bandit 6, and has 33 bytes in size. So we're going to have to use find again, and we need to figure out how to specify group and user with find. So let's see, man find. What about, can I do user? Search. Command. All right, I've got an idea. And then let's grab User, no entry. Group, no entry. So I guess we could technically look at everything inside of the user's home directory. So if we do, so where's our working directory? So we're inside of Bandit, but that's not the only thing they own though. So how to find files owned by a user in Linux. So let's see how to use the find command to locate all files, folders owned by one or many users in Linux or Unix-like systems. So that doesn't make any sense because I did search for user, but and group, and I didn't find anything in the. So okay, you can search by group, and you can also search by user. That is interesting. So we don't know the file names, but we know the file size. So let's do find everything right that has the user is Bandit. Seven, I think. So it's owned by Bandit 7. Yep. And then the size is what? 33 bytes. So we're going to have to use C again because, again, that's not in the 32 byte range. So you have 32, 64, 128, so it's basically 196 and then 256, 512. So in that block range, if it's outside of that block range, you have to use actual byte size. That's basically what I've just learned now, which sounds amazing. So we see. So the username is Bandit, and we know that we can search for a size. Come on. So size is, we know, I think it's 33. See? It's not the name of a known user. Oh, wait. We didn't chuck in here. Bandit 7. Ooh. So what if we grep ones that don't have, we pass that to grep and grep ones that don't have permission denied. So ignore, hang on, I think that actually means case is sensitive. I think ignore is K or V. Let me double check. To ignore lines that contains certain text with grep. So it's stack V. Yep, I knew it was stack V. Yep. So let's do stack V. And then we don't want anything that has the word permission Hang on, denied. Well, it did exactly what we said we don't want. So I guess we could potentially do this if we get rid of all that good stuff. So as we specified a particular user, we can also specify a group, which we found, and it's owned by Bandit. What is the group name? So we know the group name is Bandit 6. All right. So 6. Oh, seriously. Access denied, access denied, access denied, access denied. Is this file there? What is in there? So everything in here is denied, 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 denied. Did I read that properly about that grep? Because it'd be nice to keep this clean. So I've done that grep unweighted word file. Well, that's kind of overkill, right? Using regular expression. We could do awk. I haven't used awk before, but will awk work if you don't pass something to it, like pass a file to it? So like, if you guys see what I'm trying to do is awk duck I duck mission. Yeah, no, it did not work. So let me cut the file that we at least copied. Let's see what is in there. Oh, that's the password. Interesting. So that's kind of what we're looking for. But it's a bit weird that we had to do all of that to find that, and we had to sort of go through all of this mess. Surely there's another way to sort of find that without having to see all of the permission denied error. Surely though, surely. Because I don't want to rely on my personal eye to sort of find it. Kind of stubborn to not go past this. Grep V unweighted word file pattern. That's also an overkill, like nesting grep command. What about that? What is that? Is that a secret to our sauce? Would that do the trick? No, it didn't. Didn't get. Well, there's that saying that says know when to move on. If it's not today, it'll be another day. Copy that password and move on. So we copy that goodness and we paste it in here. So that's level 7 password. Now we can obviously SSH into level 7. So I'll clear my screen and I'll exit from bandit 6 and SSH into bandit 7. Guys, hopefully you're following along. I know we've been going for an hour and a half and it's probably about time to sort of start wrapping up. But let's do bandit 7 before we call it a night. All right. Let's see what's going on in bandit 7. What is going on in bandit 7 land? So it says the password for the next level is stored in the file data.txt next to the word millionth. Interesting. All right, so let's see, what do we have here? Data.txt. And it says we can read it, so why can't we just cut it out? It's probably gonna fill my screen. Yep. Uh-oh. Oh no. All right, so grab the word millionth. And we don't want it case sensitive, so hang on. I should have known that that was going to happen. So there you go. We've got that. That one was an easy one using grep. So let me think about this. Would there be other ways to solve this problem without using grep? I guess awk would do the same thing. What about if not awk? What else could we possibly do? I don't know. Like, obviously, surely there are other tools that you could potentially use, like maybe pass that file to something like Sublime Text and then do Control Find, Control F, and use regex to sort of find it. So that's one thing you could potentially do. But moment of truth, because I did see that regex regular expression was one of the base 64 was one of the things that they said could be needed for this challenge. So let's save it, because I'm pretty sure that was the first time we've seen that. So which means we might need to do some base 64 decoding. Hang on, don't paste it as strong text. Just one number text. Bandit 8. So let's try SSH into Bandit 8 and see if that works. And if that works, then that would have been easier than most that we've had so far. Apparently, 6 gig of RAM is not enough for this VM. That worked, guys. So there you have it. That was easy. And we also have another data.txt. I don't want to do that again because that might throw us into a dead end again. So here, the password for your next level is stored in the data.txt file and is the only line to the text that occurs only once. Okay. And is the only line of text that occurs only once. So we want to look for where there's been a unique occurrence of a text. I've never used XSD before. I have no idea what that is. I know what bzip is. I know what zip is, tar. Commands you may need to solve this challenge. Grep sorted. Strings, base64. TR, I don't even know what that is, but I do know that we might need to use unique. Unique. Hck, what do we have? Main. Let's look at the main page of unique. Let's see if we can find anything that has to do with count. Only print duplicate lines. What about printing only single lines? Group, ignore cases, skip characters. All right, so we can use TAC-U to solve the problem. 0 terminated. So let's do that. I think that will solve our problem. So unique, TAC-U, data.txt. Uh-oh. That did not do what we wanted it to do. Did I not read that well? So the password for the next line is stored in the file data and is the only line of text that occurs only once. So we just see so that we could use TAC-U. Oh, hang on. Okay, that makes sense. So this might solve our problem. So guys, so unique does not detect repeated lines unless they're adjacent. So this will solve our problem unless we sort it. So let's first run sort on it. And then I command again. Sort data text. And then pass that to unique. We don't need to specify the file name because it's just taking content from the other one. Yeah, there you go. So that solves our problem. I'm not sure if you guys understood what just happened there, but I didn't even know that Unique did not sort of take into consideration repeated lines unless they're adjacent. So, like I said, you learn something new every day. All right, guys. Like I said, we were going to solve that one. Well, we've actually solved two since then. So I'm going to, just to avoid this stream becoming the longest stream we ever had, I'm going to stop soon. And guys, like, I definitely encourage you. Yeah, like, let me put in what I learned. Give me a second. Learned that's unique. That you only works when repeated lines are adjacent. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in so far. It's been quite incredible having you guys here. I'm going to quickly go into the market real quick, obviously, to help you guys make sure that you join the platform and be part of what we're doing. So if you are someone who's wanting to get into cybersecurity or get ahead in cybersecurity, like, again, I'm showing you guys how we do what we do here at CyLynk, why we're different, why we're unique. So if you're someone who's wanting to get into cybersecurity or get ahead in cybersecurity, then go right now to CyLynk.com so you can buy one of our courses or sign up for a monthly subscription, which is $15 Australian only per month. And that gives you access to a lot of our training content. You can also sign up to our job ready tracks, which are 100% money back guarantee and job guarantees, which means we will support you until you land your first job in cybersecurity or gain that well-deserved promotion in cyber. We also have partnered with Security Blue Team, CompTIA, Linux Professional Institute, and a lot of our other partners to bring you guys certifications. So you can buy CompTIA certifications from our platform directly, or Security Blue Team certification, or Linux Professional Institute certification, LPI. So if you're someone who's wanting to get hands-on, job-ready cybersecurity training, then you know where to look. Nowhere else does it like we do, which is very much focused on job-ready cybersecurity training. So go to CyLynk. Again, that is CYLYNK.com, and start learning today. And guys, seriously, if you have not bought your Hck4Good ticket, guys, let me show you this. It is going to be absolutely popping. So on the 15th of November 2025 is the Hck4G Con Hack of No Nation. The CTF will be the 2 days prior. We are going to be announcing the winners of the international level CTF competition that is purple teaming focused on the 15th, and we'll be celebrating. Guys, get this. The price of the CTF is worth almost $25,000, right? We've got about $25,000 worth of prizes to give away. So you do not want to miss this, right? So hey, guys, go forward right now. Click on register to register for the conference. And if you want to be a partaker of the conference, then you want to go to ctf.hck4good.com so you can actually register. So the CTF platform is ready for you to register. I think I may have typed something wrong. Yep. Go ahead right now, guys. Do not wait. Register, form a team, gather your friends and mates so you guys can form a team so you can register. If you don't have a team or don't know where to get one, I definitely encourage you to jump into our Discord server, which you can find just down here. So you can jump into our Discord server, so you can then put your hand up and say, hey guys, I would like a team to be part of the Hck4G Con and CTF 2025 Hack of No Nation. With that, guys, I really genuinely want to thank you guys for listening to me yabber on and for being kind with me, being vulnerable with my story, the mission here at Hck4G. With that, guys, enjoy your evening. I'll catch you all next time, which is next week. And stay focused, stay blessed, and enjoy yourself. See you all. Bye.